Okay, Extempers, I'm going to walk you through how to do a normal process of finding and collecting news articles the correct way and then turning them in the right way and having them ready for the tournament the right way. So the first thing is when you're on tournament prep, scroll down to the bottom. Extemp is always at the bottom. And you'll find that a lot of the time the instructions are repetitive. A lot of the time, though, it changes the amount you have to find, the amount of articles you have to find, or the topic area you're focusing on. So we have to do quite a bit of research and really get familiar with what's happening in the news before we can do any of the other Extemp skills. So that is coming, but not yet. So the first thing, probably the easiest way to start this is to start by going to your drive, not docs, not slides, but drive. And we already had an assignment where you moved the Albion debate folder to your drive. So start by going there, and you're going to need to double click. I'm going to show you this helpful button. Yours is kind of automatically set to look like this, but this button gives you a clearer view of everything, so just so you know that. Then you're going to want to go to the extemporaneous folder, and you have to double click, 1, 2. Okay. And then when that opens, you're going to go to shared research. And since today's instructions talked about national news, you would want to go to the national folder first. Okay. So the easiest way to start creating an article is inside of that folder, go to new and then Google Doc. And you're going to press yes, this create and share. So what that did is this is automatically putting this article in the right folder for me. So I don't have to worry about moving it after I created the article. So then the next step is to find a news article. So you can click the link, which takes you to Google News. You can change what's up here. And notice how this is on the news tab. So part of the trick with Extemp is finding things that are commonly in the news over and over and over. What the tournament often does is they take a headline and they turn it into a question. So we want to be getting as many of these articles as we possibly can. So I can scroll through. I can start paying attention. Are there any of these that I'm seeing over and over and over and over? And I can go to another page. And so when I find one where I'm like, okay, this is pretty interesting, then I'll stop and open up one that I think is interesting. I'm trying to read here, but I'm talking, sorry. I'm going to go back to the first page because this one looks interesting to me. Now, another important trick that you should do before you create an article, you should make sure someone else didn't already do it, right? So if I see that this is about possible Iran strikes, I'm going to look through and see if I see any that someone else maybe already did the same thing, because it's a waste of time, right, if we have the same thing. So now I just use the checklist. It says first thing, I'm going to copy and paste. Sometimes you can do Control A and highlight everything, but that gets all the ads and stuff. Sometimes you can just click and drag and copy a little bit at a time. For the sake of time, I'm just going to do Control A, Control C, and now come to my blank Google Doc and Control V. The next step, I would spend a little time and get rid of all the extra stuff that's just not necessary, right? So I'm going to get rid of all the ads. I'm going to scroll through and get rid of pictures I don't need so that it's just the article. Okay. Now I'm going to, again, use the checklist here. So I'm making sure I'm getting all the right thing. It says I need to have the link to the original article. So I come up to the article, I come up to the URL, and I copy, and I'm going to put that right at the top. Okay. Done. Next. The title of the article, because I just controlled and copied everything, it's already there, but it also says it should be the title of the Google Doc. So right here is the title of the article, which again was the title right here as well. So now I'm going to come and make that the title of the Google Doc, so that when I'm at the tournament and I got my question and I'm trying to see if there's an article in here that's going to help me, I can quickly read those articles and be like, oh, okay. This one is going to help me. The next thing is credentials. Now, credentials mean why is the person who wrote the author, right? We need the author, we need the credentials. Why is that author trustworthy? So the article, because it's a good trustworthy one, they weren't trying to hide who wrote this. That's one of the tricks you can use of, is this a trustworthy article? It's right at the very top. Credentials sometimes are really easy to find. If they're not really easy to find, sometimes it means it's not a trustworthy article. But see how this is a link? That means I can click, I'll just ignore the second person. Usually it's the first person. I'm going to click that link and boom, it told me right here that she is a senior White House reporter. And it's not letting me copy and paste it from there. But I'm going to build that into my speech at the tournament. And when I say, well, according to a February 18th article called Trump Has Discussed Timeline for Iran Strikes by Jennifer Jacobs, who is a senior White House reporter, that I'm going to build in all of that information for the judge because it makes me seem more trustworthy. So I'm just going to type that, senior White House reporter. Okay, so I'm almost done with the required pieces here. The date is usually already on it, right? But if it's not, although it is, I need to make sure I add that because judges want to know when you found your evidence. So the last couple of steps here, you have to actually read the article. It's not helpful to have an article that you didn't actually read. And you're going to highlight the stuff that you want to remember. Really, the trick here is any facts or statistics that are helpful that you might build into a speech at the tournament. If there's quotes in the article, you're going to read through and you're going to ask yourself, what things might actually help me? Like here I see there's a quote, so I might highlight in yellow that part, because when I'm at the tournament and I only have 20 minutes, now I know, okay, this was an important part. But I need to read the whole thing. Some of them are very long, some of them will be shorter, and that's okay. But remember, you can also get rid of all the stuff that's unnecessary. Okay, so the last couple of steps here, we already did the step. We put it in the correct folder because we just created the document in this folder, so we don't need to worry about that. And then we needed to make sure we found as many articles as we can. Indian Hills often tries to find 15 articles a day. So 3 might seem like a lot. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 2, just depending on how long class is. But know that you're going up against Indian Hills, who really pushes for way more articles. So the more you can do, the better. You shouldn't just stop just because you got to the bare minimum. So then the instructions say you're going to take a screenshot of your highlighted articles, and that's what you upload to Canvas for proof. So the easiest way to do this, it says it right here, is to go to your recent folder. And this is an example of what you're doing. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So when I'm on my drive, not docs, not slides, I go to recent. And right here, it's showing me. So let's pretend that I did that same process of finding an article, finding all the right steps. Let's say I did it 5 times. It's going to show me all 5 of those right here. So I'm going to take a screenshot and of just right here, and that's what I go turn in on Canvas. And the way you turn in a screenshot, just in case you don't know, is upload. Or just press the spaceship. And if you already had the screenshot, it should be like right in your recent folder, right at the top. Okay, there you go.